Level 1, the applicant. You're sitting in a hotel room in Prague. The furniture is cheap. The walls are thin. You flew commercial. Coach, you've been here for 3 days and nobody has contacted you yet. This is the test. You already passed the background check. The real one. Not the version you give employers. Someone pulled your military records, someone found the discharge papers, someone saw what you did in Helmand province that you never talk about, someone decided you might be useful. The phone rings at 2 a.m., a voice gives you an address. No greeting, no name, just the address and a time. You show up to a warehouse in the industrial district. There are 4 other people there. Nobody makes eye contact. A man in his 50s wearing an expensive watch asks you each one question. Yours is, have you ever killed someone who didn't deserve it? You tell the truth. And he nods. 2 of the other applicants are dismissed immediately. You never see them again. You're given a file, a photo, a name, a city. The target is a low-level loan shark in Bratislava who's been skimming from the wrong people. This is your audition. You have 2 weeks, no support, no backup, no second chances. You take the file and walk out into the morning fog. Your hands don't shake. That's how you know you're already different. Level 2, the apprentice. You completed the Bratislava job. The loan shark died in what the local police called a botched robbery. You used a kitchen knife you bought at a hardware store. You wore gloves from a medical supply shop. You burned everything afterward in an oil drum behind an abandoned factory. You flew home and waited. 3 weeks later, money appeared in an account you didn't know you had. 15,000 euros and another phone number. Now you have a handler. You never meet them face to face. Their voice is digitally altered on the calls. Sometimes male, sometimes female. They give you assignments, small jobs, regional problems. You do maybe 4 or 5 a year, a corrupt lawyer in Lyon, a mid-level drug distributor in Hamburg, a human trafficker in Naples. The targets are always bad people. That's intentional. They're training you, building your skills, and also testing whether you'll hesitate when the target is genuinely evil. You learn the fundamentals: surveillance, counter-surveillance, how to build a clean identity that holds up to border security, how to source an untraceable weapon in a foreign city in under 6 hours, how to create an exit strategy before you ever see the target's face. You rent cheap apartments, you eat alone, you start to memorize the layouts of train stations and airports across Europe. You become fluent in the language of transit. This phase lasts between 1 and 3 years. Some apprentices wash out. They get caught, or they hesitate at the critical moment and the target escapes, or they start using drugs to cope with the stress and become unreliable. You see their absence in the silence, a job offer that suddenly goes to someone else. You never ask what happened to them. You already know. Level 3, your handler calls you by a code name now, not your real name, never your real name again. The jobs change. The targets aren't just local criminals anymore. They're international problems, a defector in Toronto, an investigative journalist in Johannesburg who's about to publish the wrong story, a pharmaceutical executive in Singapore who knows too much about contaminated vaccines. The moral simplicity of the early jobs is gone. Now, you have to decide for yourself what you can live with. The money improves, $50,000 per job. Sometimes 75, you live modestly, but you could afford not to. You maintain 3 separate identities across different continents. Each has a full backstory: credit cards, social media, rental history. You've memorized the details of lives you've never lived. When you cross a border, you become that person. Their posture, their accent, their habits. You could pass a polygraph. You develop a method. Some professionals use poison. Some use distance. A rifle from 800 meters. Some use accidents. You prefer close work. A blade, a garrote. Something that requires you to be in the room. It's harder, it's riskier, but it's cleaner in a way that matters to you. No collateral damage, no missed shots. Just the target and you and the 10 seconds it takes. You learn to compartmentalize. When you're working, you're a machine. When you're not, you're just another person in a cafe reading a book. You date occasionally, always casually, never using your real name or history. The relationships end when the person starts asking questions. You tell yourself this is necessary. Most of the time, you believe it. Level 4, like how the special organizations know your code name now, not governments. You're not clean enough for state work. But the people governments use when they need plausible deniability: private military corporations, intelligence brokers, criminal syndicates with political connections. Your handler fields requests and takes 30%. You get to refuse jobs, you refuse more than you accept. You've developed a specialty. Maybe you're the person who can eliminate a target inside a secure compound. Maybe you're the one who can make it look natural. Heart attack, stroke, accidental overdose. Maybe you're the artist who can send a message with the body. Whatever your specialty is, it's why people pay you $200,000 per contract, sometimes more. You operate globally now. Last year you worked in Dubai, Moscow, Mexico City, and Hanoi. You've learned to read the subtle differences in security culture, how close protection teams operate in different countries, which cities have facial recognition at the airports and which don't, where you can bribe a cop and where that gets you arrested. You carry this knowledge like a mental atlas. The jobs take longer to plan. Weeks sometimes. You study the target's routine until you can predict where they'll be at any given hour. You identify their vulnerabilities: the morning jog, the weekly therapy appointment, the mistress they visit on Thursday nights. Everyone has a pattern. Everyone has a moment when they're alone. You just have to be patient enough to find it. You've killed 37 people. You remember each one: their faces, the sound they made, how long it took. You don't feel guilt exactly, but you feel the weight. It sits in your chest like stones. You drink more than you used to. You sleep less. You take contracts in rapid succession because the space between them is becoming harder to tolerate. Level 5, the ghost. You don't exist anymore. Not legally. Your birth identity has been erased from every database that matters. Your fingerprints have been surgically altered. You've had minor facial reconstruction. Nothing dramatic, just enough to fool automated recognition systems. You carry a passport that says you're a Portuguese sales consultant, but that identity will be burned after the next job. You have 6 more ready. The targets are untouchable now. Warlords, oligarchs, heads of state who've outlived their usefulness to certain interests, people surrounded by layers of security that cost millions. You get paid accordingly, 500,000, sometimes $1 million. The money sits in accounts in Singapore and the Cayman Islands. You'll never spend most of it. That's not why you're doing this anymore. You work alone. Not always. Other professionals at this level sometimes use small teams. You don't. Teams are vulnerabilities. Teams talk. Teams have families and friends and weaknesses. You have none of those things. You're a ghost in the most literal sense. You move through the world leaving no trace. Like hotel staff forget your face. Like security cameras malfunction when you're nearby. Witnesses describe you differently. You've become what you needed to become. Planning a job takes months. You study not just the target, but their entire ecosystem. Their security chief's divorce, their driver's gambling debts, the contractor who installed their panic room. You find the flaw in the system because every system has one. Usually it's human, someone who can be bought or compromised or simply distracted at the right moment. You exploit that flaw with surgical precision. You've stopped counting the bodies. Somewhere over 60, maybe 70. The number doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that you've never been caught, never been identified, never left evidence that led anywhere. You're the story other professionals tell in encrypted chat rooms. The one who got into the Moscow penthouse, the one who walked out of the Riyadh compound, the one who doesn't exist. Level 6, the burn. It happens on a Tuesday in Lisbon. You complete the job, a clean kill, no complications, but when you check the dead drop for payment, it's empty. You try the backup protocol, nothing. You call the emergency number, disconnected, your handler has vanished. So, has your money. All of it, every account has been drained. You realize the truth slowly, then all at once, you've been burned. Someone decided you know too much, or you've become a liability, or the people you worked for have been compromised and they're cleaning house. The reason doesn't matter. Like, what matters is that you're now a loose end, and loose ends get cut. Yup, you go to ground. Not the safe houses, those are compromised. You use cash you kept in a storage locker for exactly this scenario. 30,000 euros, maybe enough for 3 months if you're careful. You move every 2 days. Hostels, cash-only hotels, you grow a beard, dye your hair, wear glasses you don't need. You look like a middle-aged backpacker having a crisis. They send someone after you. You spot him in Prague, a professional, younger than you. Probably cheaper, you lead him into the old town and kill him in an alley behind a tourist restaurant. You take his phone and his cash. The phone gives you a number. You text, "Send another one." Nobody replies. This is the test you always knew was coming. Can you survive when the machinery turns against you? When the infrastructure you relied on becomes the instrument of your death? You have skills, you have experience, but you don't have support. You don't have documents that will hold up under serious scrutiny. You don't have friends who will help you. You gave all that up years ago. Level 7, duct. You survive the burned phase. It takes 8 months. You eliminate 3 more contractors they send. You cross borders on foot. You live in the margins, like the gray spaces between digital surveillance. Eventually, they stop trying. You're too expensive to kill. You fade into rumor. Now you're truly independent. No handler, no organization, no safety net. You make contact with clients directly through encrypted channels. You negotiate your own terms. You keep all the money. You also absorb all the risk. If this goes wrong, nobody's coming for you. Nobody even knows your real name. The work is different, messier. Your clients aren't sophisticated intelligence brokers anymore. They're desperate people with desperate problems. A businessman who needs his partner eliminated before an audit, a cartel lieutenant settling a score, a woman whose abusive ex-husband has enough money to escape justice. You vet each client carefully. You verify their ability to pay. You never take the job unless you believe them. You charge less, 50,000, sometimes 75. The economics have changed. Without the handler's cut, you make more per job, but you work more frequently. 4 or 5 times a year becomes 10 or 12. You're busier than you've ever been and lonelier. The professional community won't touch you. You're a freelancer, an outsider, a reminder that the system isn't as stable as they pretend. You make mistakes you wouldn't have made before. In Berlin, you nearly get caught on camera. In Bangkok, you have to kill a security guard who wasn't supposed to be there. The jobs are getting rougher around the edges. You're getting tired. You're 47 years old. You've been doing this for 19 years. Your knees hurt. Your hands shake sometimes. You drink every night. Level 8, the mentor. A young guy reaches out, mid-20s, military background, dishonorably discharged for something he won't specify. He's done one job on his own. It went badly, but he survived. He's looking for guidance. He found you through channels you thought were secure. That's concerning, but also impressive. You agree to meet. A cafe in Vienna. He looks like you did 20 years ago. Hungry, capable, hollowed out in a way that civilian life will never fill. You tell him the truth, not the sanitized version, the real truth. What this life costs. What you lose, what you become. He listens. He says he understands. He doesn't. Not yet. You train him. Not out of altruism. You charge him. 25,000 for 6 months of instruction. He pays in installments. You teach him what you learned the hard way. Surveillance, counter-surveillance. How to build an exit before you enter. How to function in the state of calm detachment where killing happens. How to live with it after. He completes his first mentor job. A clean execution. Textbook. You watch from a distance. He does everything right. Afterward, you meet him and see something in his eyes you recognize. The first time is the one that changes you. He thought he was ready. Now he knows he wasn't. Now he knows he can't go back. You mentor 3 others over 4 years. 2 of them quit. One of them dies in Marseille. Sloppy work, wrong target, ambushed by security. You don't go to the funeral, there isn't one. You add his name to the list you keep in your head. The people this life has eaten, the list is long. Level 9, the legend. You're 56 years old. You've been in the business for 30 years. You've killed more than 100 people. You've survived being burned. You've trained killers who've trained other killers. Your code name is spoken in whispers. New professionals ask if you're real. The old ones know you are. They tell stories. Some of them are true. You take maybe 2 jobs a year now, only if they're interesting, only if they're difficult. A protected witness in Sydney, a reclusive billionaire in Switzerland, a target who knows someone's coming and has prepared accordingly. These are the jobs that require everything you've learned. These are the puzzles worth solving. You've accumulated enough money that you could stop 3 million, maybe 4. It sits in accounts you've nearly forgotten. You don't touch it. You don't need much. A small apartment in Lisbon, another in Bucharest, a cabin in the Austrian Alps. You move between them, you read, you walk, you watch the seasons change. The loneliness is total now. You haven't had a genuine conversation in 5 years. Every interaction is transactional or false. You maintain the identities, but they're costumes, not lives. Underneath, you're just the accumulation of all the people you've killed. Their weight, their faces, the things they said in the final seconds. You think about quitting. You've thought about it for a decade, but you don't know how. This is the only thing you know how to do, the only thing you're good at. Without it, you're just a man with no history and no future. With it, you're a legend, a ghost, a story people tell. That has to mean something. You need it to mean something. Level 10, the end. The job is in Prague, the city where it started 3 decades ago. The target is a mid-level arms dealer, unimportant in the scheme of things, but the client is paying well and you're bored. You accept. The surveillance takes 3 weeks. You learn his pattern, the morning cafe, the gym, the mistress in the new town. You identify the moment, Thursday night, the walk from her apartment to his car. 40 meters, no cameras, low foot traffic. You wait in the shadows. He comes out right on schedule. You step behind him. The blade is quick. He drops without sound. You're gone before the body hits the pavement. The police will call it a robbery. They always do. You fly home, commercial, coach. You sit by the window and watch the lights of the city disappear below. You're tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. You think about the cabin in Austria, about disappearing for real this time, about finally being done. Somewhere in a hotel room in Prague, a young man is waiting. The furniture is cheap. The walls are thin. He flew commercial, coach. He's been here for 3 days and nobody has contacted him yet. This is the test. He already passed the background check. Someone pulled his military records. Someone saw what he did that he never talks about. Someone decided he might be useful. The phone is about to ring.